Toldot is where we are in Torah. In the beginnings, in the Breshit, in the beginnings of the narratives of our people in the Torah, in the place of family, which is beautiful and traumatic. And we are with Isaac. A couple weeks ago, the refrain was, "Oh, Isaac." And now Isaac is no longer the young child that was bound up by his father Abraham, but he is a father himself. And we learn about Isaac and Rivka's children, Jacob and Esau, in this parsha. A painful tale of brothers who did not get what they needed from their parents and could not find their way to each other. Jacob and Esau, these twins. We learn right away, very soon after we learn about their birth. We are told that Isaac favored Esau, and the language is of ahava, of love. Isaac loved Esau, but Rivka loved Jacob. If that's not the beginning of a tragic tale, don't know what is. And then there's the stealing of the birthright over a bowl of lentil soup that Jacob gets Esau to agree to, even though Jacob is the younger and Esau, the birthright belongs to Esau. Although that's also a setup. And then there is this moment of ultimate betrayal set up by Rivka, their mom. When Isaac is old and too dim to see, he calls his older son Esau and says, "My son," and he answers, "Here I am." And a midrash tells us why are his eyes dim? Isaac. His eyes are dim, almost blind. The midrash says, because when the angel saw what his father Abraham was doing to him, binding him like that, the heavens opened up and the tears of the angels fell in his eyes and made his eyes dim. And they are still all these years later. All these years later, the trauma with Isaac and his family. And so Isaac says to Esau, "I'm old now. I don't know how soon I might die. So take all your stuff, your gear, your quiver, your bow, go out there and hunt me some game, and then prepare a dish for me, and then I will give you my innermost blessing before I die." Rivka overhears this, and she goes to Jacob and says, "Here's what's happening. Your brother's going out to hunt and bring back a dish and is going to receive the blessing, so you do it. Listen carefully as I instruct you," she says. "Go to the flock that's here and fetch 2 kids, and then I will make a dish, and then you'll give it to your father." Jacob says to his mother Rivka, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I'm smooth-skinned, and if my father touches me, he'll know that I am a deceiver. And it will bring me a curse, not a blessing." But his mother says, "Your curse, my son, will be on me. Go ahead and do it." So he does. And then he brings it to him, and he says, "Father?" And his father says, "Yes. Which of my sons are you?" Jacob says, "I am Esau, your firstborn. And I've done as you've told me, so now eat and give me your innermost blessing." "Wow, how did you do this so quickly?" Isaac is asking. "Oh, because God has granted me this good fortune." Isaac then says next to Jacob, "Come closer so I can feel you, to really see if you're Esau or not." So he gets close to him, And Isaac felt, wow, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but yet the hands do feel like Esau. And he says, Ataze beni Esau? Are you really my son, Esau? V'yomer ani. And Jacob says, I am. Okay, I'll eat and I'll give you my blessing. And then he says, come close to me. And he gives him a beautiful innermost blessing. Let the people serve you and nations bow to you. You'll be master over your brothers. And on. And then Jacob leaves, and here comes Esau with what he had hunted and prepared. And he comes to his father and says, here I am. And he says, who are you? And he says, I am your son, Esau, your firstborn. And Isaac was seized with violent trembling. Who was it then who was just here, who demanded that I gave him the blessing? And I blessed him. And now he must remain blessed. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst into wild and bitter sobbing. Barcheni gam ani avi. Bless me too, Father. But he said, no, your brother came and he took your blessing. What? Jacob came and supplanted me? Don't you have a blessing for me? No, I've made him master over you. And Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing? Bless me too, Father. Barcheni gam ani avi. Not one blessing, bless me too. And he wept and sobbed. And his father gave him a small blessing. Within it, he said, you shall serve your brother. This deceit causes such devastating hurt and harm to Esau and Jacob. And Jacob has to leave, afraid, and his mother's fear also of his brother's rage. I remember studying this with a bat mitzvah student, and she threw up her arms at one point and says, wow, nobody took any responsibility. I was like, amen. No one took any responsibility other than maybe Rivka. I'd say Rivka took a bit of responsibility. But in that moment, in that exchange, where's the achrayut? The responsibility. Over and over. That's why I wanted to read you the text so you could hear. Is that really you? Come closer. Is that your voice? Is that you? Are you sure? Is that you? And each time there was an opportunity to say, no, that's not me. That's not me. I started doing this thing, but nope, that's not right. I'm Jacob. Or for Isaac to say, this doesn't feel right. Why don't we stop everything and figure this out? It was unfolding inside of an ongoing abdication of responsibility. When Rabbi Akiva was asked, what is the essence of Torah? What is the essence of Torah? And he said, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ze klal gadol b'Torah. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's the main principle of Torah. And Rav Simcha Zizel, who's a great name, early carrier of Musar, says, based on what Rabbi Akiva said, this is the center. From this, everything comes. Achrayut is the center. Responsibility, carrying the other. Carrying the other within us. So achrayut has a couple possible roots. One is achar, which means I'm responsible for now and after. So whatever I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, that click, 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 send, I'm responsible for now and after. That's one part of achrayut. The other is acher, the other, that I am carrying the other in me. And that's what it is to be responsible. We are responsible for the other. This happens in our families of origin, this moving towards and moving away. And it's a specific kind that is here of this abdication of responsibility, as we heard, where they had moment after moment to take responsibility, to name it, to change it, and they don't. This kind of a moving away says there's not enough, there's just for some. Where there's achrayut, carrying the other, but it's for you and it is not for you. And I know that some of you have experienced this in your families of origins. There's responsibility for you and not for you. I carry you, but not you. Some of you have also shared that there wasn't a lot of carrying of anybody. And often this is reinforced in our culture. There is caring about some, but not others. We see the unhoused person not as someone with a name and a story, but as another, not part of our responsibility, not part of our insides. And it is so present in this country. It is part of the culture. My team and your team. I really love sports. I know some of you know that. But sometimes I do feel like the way people are talking these days is like sports all the time. And I think, oh, am I watching a sports game? Or are we talking about human beings and their lives? Our team and their team. And very much this is present in the discourse on Israel and Palestine. This inability to hold the pain and the despair of and the grief of so many killed. Movement away and movement towards. And as you know, I've said this and said this and said this again, and I will continue to say this, that we need to raise up, listen to, and take leadership from Israelis and Palestinians who actually live there and who have been committed to social justice and shared society for a long time. And as I have listened to these voices in conversation, over and over again, there has been a repeated refrain. Organizations like the Parent Circle, the Bereaved Families Forum, Standing Together, and so many more. There is a moment at the beginning of the conversation where they say, wow, you guys, what is going on here? This is really threw up his, what is happening to all of you? What are you doing? It's not helping us. Palestinian woman in Bethlehem said, I see these things saying pro this and anti that. How do you think pro this and anti that is going to help us? You need to affirm our shared humanity. Rabbi Avi Dabush, who's the executive director of Rabbis for Human Rights in Israel, he lives in Kibbutz Nirim. I listened to him share his harrowing story of survival. Unbelievable, he and his family. And he shared that we must preserve our shared humanity at this time of great anxiety and uncertainty. They are dealing with such intensity and peril and can affirm their shared humanity. And here we cannot. This lack of humanity is all over our discourse. And it is not helping them. And they are telling us. I saw a horribly sad video. It was two young women here in the United States who were ripping down posters of hostages. And the person who was making the video said, "Hey, why are you doing that?" And it was a gentle voice. And they said, "Because children in Gaza are dying." And then I heard a local Jewish leader on the radio saying that the children in Gaza are just collateral damage. These are children who are missing. These are children who are killed. Why are we taking away the pain of that? Yes, there is so much in this that is complex and real and life-threatening, that involves policy and strategy for what is happening right now, for the humanitarian crisis and the killing that is happening right now, for the fear of more killing, for safety and for security, for now and for going forward, for human rights and for dignity, not just for now, but for the future, for the trauma of the past, for the reality of the future. There is so much there. And it is our job here to support the people who are doing the work there. And to remember, as Americans have a hard time remembering, that we are not experts on all things. That is our role, to support the people doing the work there who have been doing this work for years. And our work here is the discourse here. The pain and the unbelievable discourse here. And our work is the rising anti-Semitism here, and the rising Islamophobia. That's our work, the work here, and to support them. It is so corrosive to our communities, the discourse here. There are experts in what is happening there. Here, we have to remember our moral compass. Where is it? Where is our moral compass, our achrayut, at the center of who we are, when we cannot name the grief and the pain? If you are in spaces or in groups that are not holding our shared humanity, carrying our neighbor, whether it's in our neighborhoods about who is living there and where, or in your families, around this discourse, you can actually say something. You can actually do something. You can actually hold the other in achrayut. One of the othering, pushing out moments in Torah, not caring for the other, also happened around Isaac, when Isaac was a child and Sarah was afraid of Hagar and Ishmael. We just read it. We read it recently, and also we read it on Rosh Hashanah together. And that's a painful moment. And we learn that after Sarah dies, he goes away for a while. We don't hear about Isaac. Actually, we don't hear about Isaac after he's bound up for a bit. We don't hear about him. We hear that his mom dies. And then there's finding Rivka to bring him to Isaac. And then you wonder, where has Isaac been? Where has Isaac been? And the text tells us that Isaac went to Be'er Lachai Ro'i, the well of the one who sees me. The well of the one who sees me. So where was that? Where did Isaac go? The Midrash tells us that Isaac went to go be with Hagar. To go be with Hagar, to connect with her in his grief on the loss of his mother, and to be with his family. There are opportunities to take responsibility even after something happens. And the text tells us to bring Hagar back, into his family and to Abraham. Even when achrayut is missed, when we do not carry each other, we can take responsibility and we can cause healing, create healing after the fact. One of the things that's painful, I know, when we look at our families of origin, it can feel like, whoa, it's overwhelming. But part of a powerful shift that can happen is when we take responsibility in our own lives. That's part of what it is to grow. That is part of what it is to become an adult, is to take responsibility for the very places in new ways that had caused us harm in the past. Now we can make new choices to bring achrayut forward. I was with somebody this week who has been struggling for healing in so many ways. And for the first time, she has talked about what she wants to do to help be of service to others who have walked the same path that she has. And I knew that a shift was happening in her healing. When I am able to take responsibility, it shifts me into a new place around my healing. And what can I take responsibility for? The very things that have been harmful. The very things are our own journey of carrying the other. This is so central to the sobriety journey, to be of service, to take responsibility, not for just your life, but then to be of service to others. I'll close with this story I heard of Paige Hunter, a teenager in Sunderland, England, which actually is where, in a journey of immigration, my husband's family spent some time. Paige has struggled with depression. In the past, she's walked over this particular bridge. Excuse me if I'm saying it terribly wrong. The Wearmouth Bridge. Anybody been to Sunderland? Sunderland, you can correct me. The Wearmouth Bridge, and she has thought, in a desperate time, she thought about jumping. And in her journey of healing, she wanted to shift. Now that she was in a place of taking responsibility for her healing, she wanted to be of service to others. And she left these notes fastened along the bridge, handwritten notes, and put them all over the bridge with her own story and a phone number to call. And at the time I learned about her story, there had been 6 phone calls. Where are the places that you are uniquely suited, uniquely gifted to carry another? From your skills, from your deep knowing, from your own healing. May you carry and may you be carried. May you carry and may you be carried. Shabbat Shalom.
carry you through these chains.